name is Dian McCreary, and I've been out on the coast since 2004, but I do have a history in Tofino before that. In my past life, we had a house in Tofino on Chestermans. I only shoot black and white because I feel color is more descriptive, but black and white is more, it's more interpretive, and you need to see things beyond the color. So light, shadow, drama, and this place here, I mean, there's so much. My father and my mother were both artistic, and I have some of the old little square pictures, and they were all black and white, and they did pencil sketches. So the black and white aspect, I think, comes from there. But I started to play with photography when I started to come out here in the summers, and I met Wayne Barnes. He loaned me a camera, and he said, just go play with it. And so I did. And that's really what got me started. I went to university late in life to get a degree, and I did photography. And that's where I discovered the darkroom, actually. I have a passion for my darkroom. I'd like to read you something somebody wrote, and it's perfect. It's the darkroom, and I truly feel this. It's a quiet place. No one can disturb you. If you're blacked out, it's you and your art, nothing else. It's a place where you can really concentrate on what you're trying to convey in the picture, and you have full control of the environment. I'm passionate about my darkroom and playing with prints and seeing them come out. To sit in front of a computer, and I've gone through this conversation many times with photographers, sitting in front of a computer does not excite me to work with, Photoshop or whatever. No. Yeah. So my passion is, creating art in my darkroom. I have no interest in moving on to it. It's not like moving on. It's a different art. Yeah. And that's what I tell people. So, why don't you move on? People say, why don't you move on? Why don't you go digital? Well, this is why. I don't have the interest, and you've got to have passion to create art, right? This is the only place I can go when the storms are blowing and the trees are whipping and the wind makes me crazy, because I'm always afraid, a tree's going to go down or something. And this is the only place I can go and I don't hear the wind.
It's like a bunker.
Yeah, basically, it is.
I'll be in the bunker till the morning.
That's a good word, yeah, for sure. When you're looking for black and white, you see things in a different way. And so I'm always looking, we drive down to the beach, and I see the light coming through the trees at a certain time of day, and then it hits vegetation. So, and I set up for one shot of the skunk cabbage. And it was just way down in the bushes on the way to Florencia, and I set up my tripod and I put on my telephoto lens and I zoomed in on this. When I developed it, I looked at it, and there's an old man's face in the leaf. It just popped out. But what drew me to that was the light. Oh, the light in the forest. Oh, the light's just right. I mean, I waste a lot of film. I have binders full of negatives, and there's one or two maybe on a sheet, because you bracket a lot. You set up for the light and you think, okay, this looks pretty perfect. But then, just to be safe, you bracket down or you bracket up so that you're shooting at different exposures to make sure one of those will work. It's exciting in a way, and then when you develop the print, you see it coming, and it's magical to watch. Just put a piece of paper in there, and then you see the image. It's my passion. I don't know what else to say. When I finally moved out here, I met Signe Cohen, Reflecting Spirit, and I had some matted prints, and I was very nervous about taking them to show her, to put in the gallery. It's like you're bearing your soul when you're showing your art to somebody, because you think it's great, but you're just not sure what the reaction will be. I started supplying the gallery with my prints and pretty good sales, and so it gave me inspiration and confidence. And if she reacted negatively, it would have probably crushed me a little bit. But so the fact that she accepted it and thought it was great, and she's such a great artist, so when she gives me constructive criticism, I take it. And also Ursula Bank is a friend of mine, and she also would give me constructive criticism. So I would take all of that and just improve, I think, as I go along. It's all about, again, all about the drama of light and shadow. So it's really difficult, but sometimes it's just amazing. You know, weather is fascinating. So, and especially living where I do with the view here, you see the Virga on the horizon and then the rain in one spot. And it's dramatic. It's exciting. Maybe this one. It's one of my favorites. Didn't know it was going to turn out that way. Is that a good shot? Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know. So I call it coastal forest spirit because to me it's magical. Well, I call it Eye of the Beholder. And it's the same print, obviously, but people look at it and they can't figure out what it is. It's like, oh, what is it? A well? But what it is, it's a stream running from falls, and then there's a stream, and then there's the wet, and then there's the dry rocks, and then the rocks in shadow, and this is actually the canyon wall, this little part. I have a lot of images that I shot in the prairies when I first started playing around and crawling around in the grass. We had an acreage out on Waterton Reservoir, and I've got some wonderful crocus shots. Just, they're absolutely beautiful. And I've got a picture of the high level bridge in Lethbridge coming out of the fog and things like that. So that's kind of one field. But then when we moved out here, I had to focus on, well, I mean, the environment here is amazing. But to sell in the gallery, I have to produce images of beaches and with names that tourists are going to come, oh, I was there. So something recognizable, which limits me a little bit here. I do all the shows with Pacific Rim Arts, so I just, you know, if there's any art shows, I just put stuff out there. Yeah. And then my guests, of course, we have a B&B. So my house is a gallery. And I also have my photography link to my website. So people do go on there, and I do sell that way. But not as much as I'd like to. Well, I produce photography because I enjoy the work. I enjoy taking photographs. I really enjoy the darkroom. But if you can make money, of course, that helps. So, but no, that's not my focus. It's not, oh, commercializing it, getting it out there and selling. If I had nothing else to do, I would delve right into it because it's my passion. And I've said that many times. Like, and if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to enjoy it, and maybe your product is not going to be the best, right? I think, yeah. I mean, from a personal point of view, if I buy art, it's got to speak to me. And I have a piece upstairs that in our personal space, and it made me cry when I looked at it, and it spoke to me, and I couldn't afford it, so we went walk around, and then I went back to the gallery, and the owner of the gallery said, I knew you'd be back, because when art speaks to you that way, you gotta have it somehow. So that's basically the way I feel about what I do.